You walk into a room and nobody notices. You speak and people talk over you. You share your opinion and it gets dismissed. Meanwhile, someone else says the exact same thing 5 minutes later and everyone nods in agreement. Invisible, ignored, dismissed. This isn't random. This isn't bad luck. There's a psychological architecture to respect that most people never learn. And here's what makes it worse. The harder you try to get respect, the less you receive. It's a paradox that keeps millions trapped in a cycle of frustration and self-doubt. Today, we're going to dismantle that cycle completely. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once observed, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reactions, your presence, your psychological positioning. These are the invisible forces that determine whether people respect you or ignore you. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why some people command respect effortlessly while others beg for it and never receive it. And more importantly, you'll have the tools to transform how the world sees you. The respect paradox. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Respect cannot be demanded. The moment you ask for it, you've already lost it. This is what psychologists call the respect paradox. Think about the people in your life who command the most respect. They never ask for it. They never complain about not receiving it. They simply carry themselves in a way that makes disrespect feel impossible. Demand less, receive. Now think about someone who constantly seeks validation, who gets upset when they're not acknowledged, who reminds people of their achievements. How much respect do you have for them? Probably very little. The psychology behind this is fascinating. When you seek respect, you're signaling to others that you don't believe you deserve it. You're outsourcing your self-worth to their approval, and people instinctively sense this. As Carl Jung noted, what you resist persists. The more desperately you chase respect, the more it eludes you. True respect flows naturally to those who have already decided internally that they are worthy of it. This isn't arrogance, it's quiet self-assurance, and it begins with a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. But here's where it gets more complex. Emotional regulation. The single fastest way to lose respect is to lose control of your emotions. Not because emotions are bad, but because uncontrolled emotional reactions signal that external circumstances have power over you. And if circumstances control you, how can you be trusted to handle anything important? Your reactions reveal your weaknesses. Think about this. When someone insults you and you immediately react with anger, what have you shown them? That they have the power to destabilize you with mere words. That's not strength. That's vulnerability wearing a mask of aggression. The psychologist Daniel Goleman spent decades researching emotional intelligence, and his findings are clear. The ability to regulate your emotional responses is one of the strongest predictors of success and respect in every domain of life. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions. Suppression creates its own problems. It means creating space between stimulus and response. When someone provokes you, there's a gap. A moment where you can choose how to respond rather than react automatically. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, an unshakable core that external events cannot penetrate. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Master this and you'll notice something strange. The same people who used to dismiss you will start watching their words around you. But emotional regulation alone isn't enough. The power of no. There's a word that separates people who are respected from people who are used. That word is no. No. Most people are terrified of this word. They're afraid of conflict, of disappointing others, of being seen as difficult. So they say yes when they mean no. They agree to things that violate their boundaries. They let their time and energy be stolen because they can't bear the momentary discomfort of refusal. And then they wonder why no one respects them. Here's the psychological truth. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you're teaching people that your boundaries don't exist. You're showing them that your needs don't matter, even to you. Why would they matter to anyone else? Yes means nothing. The psychologist Harriet Breaker called this the disease to please, and it's epidemic. People exhaust themselves trying to make everyone happy, and in the end, nobody respects them, not even themselves. But here's what changes everything. A well-placed no actually increases your value. When you say no to things that don't align with your priorities, your yes becomes meaningful. People start to understand that your agreement means something, that your time is valuable, that you have standards. When you say yes to others, make sure you're not saying no to yourself. Start small. Practice saying no to minor requests that don't serve you. Notice how the world doesn't collapse, and watch how people begin to treat you differently. But boundaries are just the beginning. Silent confidence. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most respected. Think about that for a moment. We live in a culture that celebrates constant self-promotion, where everyone is broadcasting their achievements, their opinions, their every thought. But psychologically, this signals insecurity. Noise masks emptiness. The truly confident don't need to announce themselves. They don't need to fill every silence with words. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. Their presence speaks for itself. This is what psychologists call secure self-esteem, a sense of worth that doesn't depend on external validation or comparison to others. There's a reason why the wise mentor in every story speaks little and says much. There's a reason why the most powerful figures in any room are often the quietest. Silence is not emptiness. It's presence. It's the ability to hold space without needing to fill it with nervous energy. As the ancient proverb states, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. When you speak less, people listen more. Your words gain weight. Your opinions carry significance. You become someone worth paying attention to precisely because you're not demanding attention. Practice this. In your next conversation, talk 30% less than you normally would. Notice the difference in how people engage with you. Notice how they lean in, how they wait for your words. And yet, silence alone won't command respect. Consistent action. Words are cheap. Everyone knows this, yet few act accordingly. The gap between what people say and what they do is where respect dies. Words, actions, trust. Think about someone who constantly makes promises but never follows through. Someone who talks about their goals but never takes action. Someone who says they'll change but stays exactly the same. How much do you trust them? How much do you respect them? Psychologists have studied this extensively. Research by Roy Baumeister shows that broken commitments don't just damage your reputation with others, they damage your relationship with yourself. Every unkept promise erodes your self-trust, which others can sense instinctively. But there's another dimension here that most people miss. It's not just about keeping promises to others. It's about keeping promises to yourself. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. When you tell yourself you'll wake up early and then hit snooze, you're breaking a commitment. When you decide to exercise and then skip it, you're teaching yourself that your word doesn't matter. These small betrayals compound. They shape your identity, and that identity broadcasts itself to everyone around you through 1,000 subtle signals you're not even aware of. Integrity. The Latin root of integrity means wholeness, being undivided, having your actions align with your words. People can sense this alignment, they trust it, they respect it, because it's rare. Start today, make one small promise to yourself and keep it. Then another. Build the muscle of self-trust and watch how the world responds. Speaking of responses, the mirror effect. Here's something uncomfortable. The respect you receive from others is often a reflection of the respect you have for yourself. They see what you show them. This isn't mystical. It's psychological. The way you carry yourself, the standards you accept, the treatment you tolerate, all of these send signals to the people around you. And people read these signals, usually unconsciously, to determine how to treat you. If you accept disrespect, you're teaching people that disrespecting you is acceptable. If you apologize for existing, people will treat you as if your existence needs an apology. If you act like your time isn't valuable, don't be surprised when others waste it. Accept less, get less. Jung called this phenomenon projection. We project onto others, and others project onto us. But the baseline they work from is how we present ourselves. As the psychoanalyst Jack Lacan observed, we exist in a mirror stage throughout life, seeing ourselves through the eyes of others and showing others who we believe ourselves to be. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. This is both the problem and the solution. If others are treating you poorly, the painful question is, what are you consenting to? What signals are you sending about your worth? Change those signals, and you change how the world treats you. But this leads us to something most people never consider. Competence matters. All the psychological tactics in the world won't help you if you're not good at something. This is the truth nobody wants to hear. Real, lasting respect is built on a foundation of competence. People respect those who can do things, who have skills, who solve problems, who create value. This isn't superficial. It's evolutionary. Throughout human history, individuals who could contribute something valuable to the group were respected and protected. Those who couldn't were marginalized. This wiring is still with us. The psychologist Albert Bandura spent his career studying what he called self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to accomplish tasks and handle challenges. His research showed that self-efficacy isn't just about confidence. It's about actual capability built through experience and mastery. Talk is cheap. Here's the key insight. Competence breeds confidence, which breeds respect, not the other way around. You can't fake competence for long. Eventually, reality exposes you. But when you genuinely become good at something, truly skilled, something shifts. You stop needing external validation because you know what you're capable of, and that knowing radiates outward. Excellence is not a gift, but a skill that takes practice. So ask yourself, what are you building mastery in? What skill are you developing? What value can you offer? Because respect without competence is just a castle built on sand. And competence connects directly to our next principle. Respect others first. There's a paradox hidden within respect that most people miss entirely. The fastest way to earn respect is to give it first. Give first, not strategically, not manipulatively, genuinely. This works because of a deep psychological principle called reciprocity. Robert Cialdini's research showed that humans are wired to return what they receive. When you respect others, treating their time as valuable, acknowledging their expertise, listening to their perspectives, you create a psychological debt that most people feel compelled to repay. But it goes deeper than that. When you respect others, you demonstrate that you're secure enough in your own worth that you don't need to tear anyone else down. You show that you operate from abundance rather than scarcity. This is incredibly attractive, psychologically speaking. The insecure diminish others. Think about people who constantly criticize, who mock, who diminish everyone around them. They might seem powerful on the surface, but what they actually reveal is their own deep insecurity. They need to make others small to feel big, and people sense this. Treat people as if they were what they ought to be, and you help them become what they are capable of being. Give respect, get respect. When you genuinely respect others, when you see their value and reflect it back to them, you create allies instead of enemies. You build relationships instead of walls. And respect flows naturally in both directions. But this only works if it's authentic, which brings us to our next crucial point. Walk away power. The ultimate source of respect is the ability to walk away. From a job that doesn't value you, from a relationship that diminishes you, from any situation that requires you to sacrifice your dignity. This is what negotiation experts call your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. The stronger your alternative, the more power you have. The more options you have, the less anyone can take you for granted. But this isn't just about career negotiations or business deals. It's about life. Options equal power. People who feel trapped accept treatment they would never tolerate if they had choices. They stay in toxic relationships because they fear being alone. They endure abusive workplaces because they're terrified of financial instability. They swallow disrespect because they don't believe they have anywhere else to go, and people sense this. They sense when someone is trapped, when someone needs them more than they need that person. And that power imbalance breeds contempt, not respect. The willingness to walk away from any deal is the ultimate leverage. The solution isn't to become cold or detached. It's to build genuine alternatives. Develop skills that make you valuable elsewhere. Build relationships that don't depend on one person. Create financial security that gives you options. Desperation destroys respect. When you know you can leave, when everyone knows you can leave, the dynamic shifts entirely. People treat you differently because they have to. But what happens when you've implemented all of this? The inner shift. Everything we've discussed, the paradox of not seeking respect, emotional regulation, boundaries, silence, consistency, self-respect, competence, respecting others, the power to walk away, they all emerge from one fundamental shift. It's the shift from seeking approval to cultivating self-approval, from needing others to validate your worth to deciding your worth yourself, from looking outward for respect to generating it from within. This isn't arrogance. Arrogance is compensating for insecurity. This is something else entirely. It's quiet certainty. It's the deep knowing that you are worthy of respect regardless of whether anyone gives it to you. Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are rather than who others want you to be. It's the psychological equivalent of coming home to yourself. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. When you make this inner shift, something remarkable happens. You stop performing for approval. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You simply become more fully yourself. Be yourself fully. And people respect authenticity. They respect someone who knows who they are and isn't apologizing for it. They respect the psychological freedom that most people never achieve. Transform. This is the real secret. All the tactics, all the strategies, they flow naturally from this one internal shift. Change how you see yourself, and you change how the world sees you. Respect isn't something you earn once and keep forever. It's something you cultivate daily through how you carry yourself, how you treat others, how you treat yourself. Daily practice, lifetime results. The 7 principles we've explored today aren't tricks or manipulations. They're not about making people fear you or putting others down to lift yourself up. They're about becoming the kind of person who naturally commands respect because you've done the inner work that most people avoid. Stop seeking approval. Regulate your emotions. Set boundaries and say no. Speak less and say more. Keep your promises, especially to yourself. Respect yourself first. Build real competence. Give respect to receive it. And always, always maintain the ability to walk away. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. The path to respect is really the path to becoming fully yourself, uncompromised, unapologetic, authentic. And that journey never ends. It's the work of a lifetime. But it's the only work that truly matters. Welcome to the Psyche Project. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe for more. Understanding yourself is the work of a lifetime. See you in the next video.